Hi everyone, it's Dr. Toplinski. I wanted to talk to you about a study just published in the British Medical Journal of Oncology that looks at the incidence, death rates, and disease burden of cancers globally from 1990 through 2019 in people younger than the age of 50. And they found that the incidence has gone up by 79%. They found that the death rates from cancer have gone up by 27.7%. They found that countries with a high middle or middle sociodemographic index were the most affected, as well as people between the ages of 40 to 49. They then looked at which cancers had the highest mortality and disease burden in 2019, and those were breast, tracheal, bronchus, and lung cancers, and colorectal cancers. They found that the incidence in 2019 was the greatest increase in nasopharyngeal and prostate cancers, but the incidence of liver cancer was actually decreasing. They then looked at risk factors, and they kind of break it down by cancer type, and I'm not going to go into all of them, but the risk factors that were kind of most associated with disease burden and mortality in the breast, lung, and colorectal cancers were tobacco, alcohol, diets high in red meat, and physical inactivity. There were some other factors as well, but those are kind of some of the key ones. And this is in line with other studies that have been published recently showing an increase in cancer in people younger than the age of 50. So I talk about this here not to incite any fear or panic, but for three reasons. So number one is it's really important to make sure that you are up to date with your cancer screening. I think so often we think of cancer as maybe an older person's disease, and the newer studies really tell us that is not the case. So it's important to make sure you're keeping up to date with mammograms and colon cancer screening and any other pap smears for cervical cancer and all of your cancer screening, and to talk to your doctors about your individual cancer risk so that you can be getting screened with the appropriate modalities at the appropriate intervals. So that's number one. Number two, it's always a good time to look at lifestyle factors. What are you eating? What are you drinking? Are you smoking? Can you be exercising more? Thinking about those little changes that we can make to try to modify risk. Now, it's not saying that those are the only risk factors. I think we don't entirely know what's driving this, and that brings me to my third point, is that we need research that's dedicated to the young adult population. We need research looking at prevention. We need risk factors, at looking at when we should be screening, and do we need to modify current screening recommendations to take these studies into account. I'd love to know what you think. Let me know.